Rob, call the roll, please.
Mr. Babcock.
Here.
Mrs. Sweet.
Here.
Mr. Baer.
Here.
Mr. Whitaker.
Here.
Mr. Avery. Mr. Hanna.
Here.
Council does have a quorum. Please join me in pledging allegiance to our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. This is the regular session of the Enon Village Council. This is Tuesday, November 28, 2023. Are there any additions to the agenda this evening?
A quick blurb for old business about the park, and also a motion to excuse Mr. Avery this evening.
I'll second.
So we have a motion by Mr. Hanna, second by Mrs. Sweet. Call
Mr.
roll.
Babcock.
Yes.
Mrs. Sweet. Yes. Mr. Baer.
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker.
Yes.
Mr. Hanna.
Yes. Thank you.
And that motion is approved. I've got a couple items of communication as well. And if there's nothing else, let's move into the minutes of the Tuesday, November 14, 2023 meeting. If council has had a chance to take a look at those minutes and they're satisfied with the contents, I'd ask for a motion in a second to approve those.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanna, seconded by Mr. Whitaker. And call the roll, please.
Mr. Babcock.
Yes.
Mrs. Sweet.
Yes.
Mr. Baer.
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker.
Yes.
Mr. Hanna.
Yes.
Rob, good evening. It is
Good
all yours.
Okay. Financial reports as of last Friday, which is when we had payroll and the last bill paid, are available for you. Apologies for not sending out the cash summary as requested, but it is there. If you will notice that the cash summary balances match our fund status balances, so that is what we want. There's a note there about the bank reconciliation date. That is incorrect. That is the last time that Laura reconciled the books, not me. We do reconcile them every month. So there must be a box that I'm not clicking somewhere that
You will get it
needs that
figured
report.
out.
But we will figure that out. But rest assured that everything has been balanced and is monthly. Our fund totals as of last Friday are in the general fund, $169,342.65. Streets, $63,175.82. Our federal grant that we are paying back, we still owe $80,000. Our rescue plan money is a balance of $131,121.75. In the special enforcement fund, we have $50. Our police levy balance is $279,659.78. Our special police fund sits at $7,337.34. Mayor's Court computer fund, which we pay into when we reconcile each month, sits at $2681.50. Water operating is at $293,138 and a penny. Our contingency balance fund is at $109,822.34. Unclaimed monies $38.85, and so we have total funds $976,368.04. We received our certified copy of our levy passage from the Board of Elections today, actually, so we have that, and we can input that for our budget.
Awesome.
If you will look at your appropriation status reports in the police portion of the general fund, and that is the 1,110 series, you will notice that there, if we go to the far right column, we are in the high 90s in some of our appropriation funds, the ones that we use the most. So I did send an email out a day or so ago asking you to consider doing a resolution today to move some monies within the general fund. I have the ability to move appropriation monies within departments, but not between departments in the general fund. My request is, it's a net zero total request, but it's moving 7,000 from what are our park numbers in the general fund, which we don't anticipate using yet in December, and supplementing the police by 5,000 and the admin side of the contractual services by 2.
And when you did all that, Rob, did you take into consideration the encumbered
numbers
Yeah,
as
so
well?
it's all the unencumbered numbers that we look at.
Because like it shows 85.7% obligated,
Yeah,
you know,
yep.
but that's only through, that's encumbered from last year plus the appropriation
Exactly.
and then minus the actual expenses, but it doesn't take the encumbered. If you put the encumbered in there, it says 85, but we're really 91.
Right. Right. So,
So,
and when we put this in the contractual services line, both for the police and the admin side, once it's in a department, I can move it within that department. So if we would need to move it over to capital outlay for some reason in either one, I would be able to do that
Yeah,
within
right.
the fund. So,
Yeah.
Then you have that flexibility again.
Yep.
Yep.
so
So we could probably do this with a motion by council, which is what we've done previously.
So do we need to list these out in the motion? I got you. I'll just do it.
we can do it by reference.
Even
That
better.
would,
that'd be my recommendation, Jeremy.
Okay, so referencing Mr. Storm's email, I'll move that we make the adjustments that
Requested
he
adjustments, right.
requested.
Right. And I'll second.
motion by Mr. Whitaker, seconded by Mr. Babcock. Any other discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Babcock,
Yes.
Mrs. Sweet,
Yes.
Mr. Bear,
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker,
Yes.
Mr. Hannah.
Yes.
Rob, anything else?
Just if we would approve the financials as submitted.
Okay, so we'll need a motion and a second to approve the financial reports
So moved.
as presented.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Sweet, seconded by Mr. Bear. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Babcock,
Yes.
Mrs. Sweet,
Yes.
Mr. Bear,
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker,
Yes.
Mr. Hannah.
Yes.
Okay, those are approved as presented. Anything else?
Just that we may be doing another one of these at our next meeting if we need to, but hopefully this will tide us over.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
And that's pretty standard this time of year, so, yep.
Absolutely.
Happens every year.
It happens every year.
Are there any questions for our fiscal officer?
Is there a certain page when we do the or when we do the monthly reconciliation? I thought there was another page that we had. Trying to find it. Not sure if it's necessary. I just know that we always had one.
When we reconcile with the bank, because that's not normally done until the first meeting after the end of the month, right?
Right, and
Because we
I
have-
think the name of it was bank reconciliation.
Right, but we only do that once a month, and because whenever the bank balances, and if it's 30th of the month, then
Right.
that cash balance that's on the bank statement would equal, or should equal,
Sure.
the cash balance that we have on the,
If there's a
Yeah,
report
so
that I'm not
funds.
providing, I'd be happy to.
Well,
I just need it.
it's
That-
just the bank
I think it's the
reconciliation.
end of the month one. So I don't think we need to do a motion for your report every time. Is where I was.
Oh,
getting
I
that.
see what
You
you're
know
saying.
what, we really
and I
don't.
agree.
Now-
Okay.
And I
Yeah,
agree.
it's usually just that reconciliation of the previous month.
First one
So,
of the next month is
Okay.
when we would.
so your next meeting, when you have the reconciliation for November, that one we will approve.
Okay, sounds good. Apologies for that.
Oh, no problem, buddy.
Thanks, Jeremy. Anything else?
That ends my report.
Okay, thanks, Rob. Communications, just a couple quick things. The annexation petition for the new park property is in the hands of the county. It's being reviewed by the prosecutor's office to make sure that the boundaries are going to be appropriate with a typical annexation procedure. I know it was looked at by the county engineer's office, and then they in turn sent it over to the prosecutor's office. I was hoping to have this done by the end of the year, but I will keep you up to date on that progress. And a couple items on upcoming meetings. The second meeting in December falls on the 26th of December. So typically, we cancel that meeting unless there's a desire to have that one. So I guess I'd entertain a motion and a second to cancel that second meeting in December.
So moved.
I'll second.
Moved by Mr. Whitaker, seconded by Mrs. Sweet. And call the roll, please.
Mr. Babcock,
Yes.
Mrs. Sweet,
Yes.
Mr. Bear,
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker,
Yes.
Mr. Hannah.
So the second item, and let me get my calendar pulled
I
up
was
here.
going to call you Mr. Scrooge after that pause.
So the organizational meeting, we typically, the last few years, we've combined with our regular council meeting. Now, the regular meeting in January would fall on the 9th, and Rob and I just talked, and that is not going to coincide with the first payroll, which means it would be best to have that first meeting organizational, and then we can do the regular meeting afterwards on Tuesday the 2nd, which means, Rob, you're under a lot of pressure there. But
Could we consider having it on Thursday the 4th to give me a couple extra days to close the books?
would that work with everyone?
That was
Thursday?
going to be my suggestion anyway.
Okay. Will that work? So we would need a motion to set the organizational meeting for 2024 on Tuesday, January 4th, and we could do it at the same time, 6:30, I would think.
Thursday.
Thursday, I'm sorry, Thursday,
Thursday the 4th at 6:30.
6:30,
You need a motion, you said, sir?
please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Sweet, seconded by Mr. Bear. And call the roll, please.
Mr. Babcock,
Yes.
Mrs. Sweet,
Yes.
Mr. Bear,
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker,
Yes.
Mr. Hannah.
Yes.
And then we could just have the regular, just a regular meeting after that, if that's the desire of the council. We just do both of them at the same time, is that,
And then
Acceptable?
just not have one the 9th.
and then we would skip that 9th meeting. Yes.
Sounds good to me because that's my mother's 90th birthday and I'd like to be with her.
Okay.
That's more important, yes.
More important.
Okay.
Thank you.
So let's go into staff reports. Kevin, I'll turn it over to you. Good evening.
Good evening, thank you. Thank you, council, thank you, residents. The first item there on my agenda is one that we all love to talk about, and we had a long, lengthy meeting. Jason, Christie, myself, the mayor, and the chief. Actually, yeah, Jason was on it. Good old medical insurance, you know, that time of year, but after many thoughts and comments and deliberations, we decided to go with Aetna this time. We're currently with Anthem. And by adding one employee on the police side that's requesting insurance, it's only went up $496 a month. So we didn't feel that was too awful at all. Basically the same coverage. There's a few co-pays that went up $5 or $10, but other than that, pretty much the same coverage, and everybody was pretty pleased with it. So I think we're going to go with the Anthem option 2.
So the renewal with Anthem included a 30% increase for the same type of coverage. So we did ask the insurance company to go back. The employees filled out the, what's that called, Kevin?
Form fire.
Form fire. And the Aetna option was almost identical to the coverage that they have now. And the increase, the 400 and some, basically $500 a month, does include that 8th employee. So we really, I think, did a good job as far as that goes. Again, staying with the Anthem was a 30% increase for the village and just did not make sense. We hate to switch insurance companies, but this is what's best for the village, and the employees will have basically the same coverage. So.
Item number 2, the Christmas celebration, Enon Historical Society. That is slated for December the 2nd, 6:45 to 8 p.m. ish. So we will close the road over here and have that celebration over here. So, number 3, the adoptive family emails went out. We adopted a family for the holidays this year as well. If you did not get the email and you want to participate in that, let me know. We can re-email it. If you did get the email and you want to participate, let me know as well, so we can kind of put you down for what you're thinking.
So Kevin, do we make a check out to the village or to Christy or to you or Rob or the janitor? Or...
Not me, but I thought we made it out to the village last year. We didn't give them cash, if I recall.
I can't remember.
I can find
Let's
out
check.
for sure.
Just to buy things, because maybe I'm not the best shopper for a
Yeah.
Barbie doll.
Yeah, I think last year we made it out to the village, and there was an account for that or something. But let me
I'm
double
pretty
check.
sure I made it out to Christy last year
let me
because
double check.
it wasn't something that went through.
Right.
Wasn't
Right,
something that
right.
went
I
through
can't imagine
the,
that it goes to the books.
right.
So,
through the books.
and there's no appropriation for anything like that. So.
I would say it's probably to Christy, and Christy had already sent out an email saying, if we wanted to just donate money just to give it to her and she could shop for
Okay,
everyone. So
I'll
yeah, if
check
you
for
could check
sure,
that.
and I'll email again. The Enon Xenia resurfacing project was a great surprise. The bid price came in at $281,977.58. The project was completed at $267,607.63.
Ooh.
So, which reduced our obligation. We originally had $60,000 allocated for our obligation. We have to pay $44,457. So that was a big surprise. Nice surprise.
Nice surprise.
Nice
yeah.
surprise. So
And I bet some of that was probably in the contingency, because I don't think there was anything surprise-wise on the paving part that the contingency had to be used for. So,
no,
yeah, good news.
no. So
Yeah, and I've heard nothing but good comments about,
Same here.
about how the road looks now all the way. I mean, people whine and complain, and I get it. When the road was under construction,
Right.
but now that it's done, it's like, cool.
yeah. We did hire a person for a water clerk. Just want to let you know she will be starting after the first of the year. She's a local lady here, lives down on Sunnybrook. So we interviewed 3 people and called her back in for a second. So I think she'll fit in. She'll fit in well. So
What's her name?
Marcia.
Is it Brown? Smith?
Marcia.
Brown.
I just wondered.
It's a
Marcia's
couple.
her first name.
She lives on West Hunter Drive, and just recently
Yeah, I said Sunnybrook, West Hunter. Sorry.
retired as a consultant to the Department of Defense doing training. So, yeah. Is looking for something to keep her busy.
Let's see here. The only other thing I have is in years past, we've closed after Christmas, and I'd like to see if that would be available as well, or option to close on December 26th as well.
Sorry about that.
It's good with me.
Do a motion, please.
Motion.
So moved with the explanation that if employees want to have that day off, then they'll be using their own leave for it.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Hannah, seconded by Mrs. Sweet. And call the roll, please.
Mr. Babcock,
Yes. Since we're not going to have a council meeting that day, might as well.
Mrs. Sweet,
Yes.
Mr. Bear,
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker,
Yes.
Mr. Hannah.
Yes.
I think other than, the guys did a whale of a job on the Christmas decorations and,
Yeah, they look
and
good.
getting things kind of tidied up and cleaned up for the winter, I think we're doing pretty good, so,
I agree.
thank you.
Questions for Administrator?
We've got salt ready.
Got plenty of salt ready to go. Yep.
Sitting there all summer long. It's
Yeah.
been the same
Won't
load.
need it,
isn't
so
it?
we're going to be making a bunch of homemade ice cream with it in the spring.
Good luck with that. Any other questions for our Administrator? Okay. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Rob. Thanks to both of you. Chief Holler is not present this evening. Any committee reports before I go into old business? Mr. Hannah, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Just a quick note too, we appreciate the first responders and them providing service to the community the last Thanksgiving Day and taking care of us and instead of being with their families, so that's greatly appreciated. Secondarily, we want to remind you on November 30th, which will be Thursday, we'll be having a special meeting at 5 o'clock. This will be kind of on the administrative side of the park and the fiscal side of that, ideally, the majority of it at least. And if Dave, if you can want to put on the pitch that night, hopefully, and show everybody that, it'd be much appreciated.
Yeah, I mean, I updated it based on the comments that we had that night, or the night that we presented it to the council. So there's a version 7 out there at the link that everybody has.
Yeah.
But, if anybody has any last minute thoughts, ideas, changes, recommendations, we can do that before. If they do it tomorrow, then we'll have them by Friday.
And I'm not sure if you might want to talk to MSP to see if they might want to have some type of pitch involved with what they might be able to provide to us at some point.
For that night, for
Not
the
necessarily for
30th?
that night, but if you could go ahead and,
Right.
and touch base with them.
Absolutely.
As we made the motion on our last meeting for $17,000 for the fencing at Enon Park, we presented the bids to the Parks Committee and Mr. Barrett, who's the chairman, the options. And while we approved $17,000 for the spending of that, for 500 foot of 72-inch chain link and 250 foot of white vinyl two-rail fencing that will go from back where you see the Alliance Electric to the street. We're going to put that as nicer fencing based off of what the Parks Committee chose. We came in with a bid, two bids. Beeline fence out of Springfield was $12,600, which was significantly less than the $17,000 that we anticipated
Yeah, we're
spending.
rolling in under bids, aren't we?
Yeah, bite your tongue.
Yes, sir.
Armor fence out of Xenia came back at $12,898. And with the approval of council, I'd asked for us to allow bids to probably go to Beeline fence out of Springfield for $12,600. So I make the motion that we allow that. If we could do that, please.
I'll second.
So we have a motion by Mr. Hannah, second by Mr. Whitaker.
What was the name of the company, sir?
Beeline, one word. And further, both contractors were AAA rated A+ through Better Business Bureau, and one had been in business, I think, 37 years. The other had been in business for 11 years. So they've had strong references for either one of them.
Any other comments, questions? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Babcock,
Yes.
Mrs. Sweet,
Yes.
Mr. Bear,
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker,
Yes.
Mr. Hannah.
Yes, thank you. And that's it.
Thanks for your work on that, Rick. Anything else from council? We have no executive session. Comments from the public. Good evening.
Good evening. Most of you, I think, already know me. For those who don't, my name is Chris Clark. I'm running for Clark County Sheriff this March 19th in the Republican primary. I'm a Republican candidate. So I'm making my rounds, stopping by, introducing myself to everybody, make sure everybody knows who I am and what I stand for. I'm open to any questions you might have. I'm running on a platform of transparency, leadership, honesty. There needs to be a lot of law enforcement reform within this county. I spent 26 years at the Clark County Sheriff's Office. I'm currently with Champaign County. I left there in March. And throughout my career at the Sheriff's Office, I spent the majority of it doing investigations and narcotics. And one thing I can tell you through my experiences, a lot of the crime that we see across the county and across the United States is narcotics driven. Here in Clark County, everything from the theft we see on Bechtel Avenue to the shootings we see, the stabbings we see, vast majority of it's narcotics driven. We have very little narcotics enforcement going on within the county. We need to change that. So that's one of the things, one of the platform items that I have is I want to focus on narcotics enforcement, have some sort of interagency task force that focuses on narcotics enforcement within the county. We spent the majority of my career at the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office spent the majority of that time in a silo, not really being willing to work with other agencies here and there. We need to expand that. You know, these criminals don't know boundaries. They don't know jurisdictional boundaries, but we have to abide by them. So we have to reach out. We have to work with other counties, other agencies. We have to get along with our prosecutors. We have to get along with our other entities that we work with, and we have to work together to do this. That hasn't really been happening over the last 7 or 8 years. That needs to change. I can provide that change. I have great relationships with Champaign County, Greene County agencies. The agencies around here, Chief Holler and I have done a lot together throughout my career when it comes to training, when it comes to education in the schools and use of force trainings and you name it, we've pretty much taught it. So I'm just trying to get my information out. Like I said, I hope to see everybody out on the 19th of March at the Republican primary. I hope I would have your support, and I'm open to any questions that you may have for me. Like I said, I'm an open book. I fully believe that when you have a position of authority, you have to take the good with the bad evenly. It's always great to get positive comments, but if there's negative comments, you have to take those, and you have to learn from them, you have to adjust, and you have to accommodate that. So anything that you might have, any question you might have, I'm an open book to.
Chris, the narcotics problem that you referred to is in your opinion, is that here, is it rooted in Clark County and adjacent counties? Is this stuff coming through because of Interstate 70? Could you just, your opinion on it?
Yes. That's the best I can get you. Is yes. I-70 has a major play on the amount of narcotics that's here. We are a major thoroughfare. We sit right between Columbus and Cincinnati, or Columbus and Dayton. I-70, I-75 are major intersections that get you pretty much anywhere you need to go across the United States. There's very little direct drug interdiction going on between the Indianapolis border and Madison County border. So if you get in your car and you drive to Columbus, I don't know if any of you ever noticed it, but when you hit Madison County, the first 3 or 4 exits, there's normally troopers and cruisers sitting there and the SUVs sitting there. That's a criminal interdiction team. They're looking for drug dealers. So these drug dealers know that. They're intel based. We should be too. They do their research. They check up on, they know where these officers sit. So where are they getting off I-70 at? They're getting off in Clark County. So they're coming right through I-70. They're coming right through, they're coming right through US 40. They're coming right down Main Street, Enon. And they get right off here at 675 and come right through here, come right into Springfield. Because less risk to come down Dayton Road than it is to come down I-70 for them. So we've got to get a group of guys and girls out there that are focused, that are educated, that know what they're looking for to start doing direct drug interdiction within Clark County. We'll never get ahead of the drug problem in the United States. Not just Clark County, the United States. We'll never get ahead of it. The money's too good. There's more of them than there is of us. But if we can make it less profitable for drug dealers to operate in Clark County, they'll go someplace else. And we don't want them here. We want them to go someplace else. And that's what we need to do. We need to make it non-profitable for them to be here. We need to make it high risk that if you deal drugs in Clark County, you're going to go to prison. And that's only going to work through collaboration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Other questions?
It'd be nice to see the sheriff's office involved now that got all the police chiefs that are meeting and getting them in one room to have somebody from the sheriff's office
Yes.
to attend at that level of
Yes.
supervisory ability.
And that's where just even meetings just like that, you have to be present. You're never going to get collaboration. You're never going to get progress if you're not present in the room. You have to be present in the room. You have to be a leader in the room.
Respect too.
Right.
Those meetings used to take place right here at one point in time. So, yeah.
Yep.
Any other questions? Thanks, Chris.
I thank you very much for your
Appreciate
time.
it.
Thank you.
If you've
Thank
got
you.
any questions that come up after the meeting, feel free to reach out to me. Thank
Good
you.
luck to you.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned. Thanks, everybody, for coming. Good to see everybody.
O'clock on the nose.
On the nose.